Who is free? Who is free?
One is Duane.
That's Duane. That's definitely Duane.
Yeah.
Bishop is at 6. And who's at 11? Who's at 11? Sanderson. January 1989. Welcome to Central Park, Wigan, on a beautiful spring-like day for the annual New Year's Day derby battle between Wigan and Warrington. The Wigan team for this afternoon: number 1 Hanson, number 2 Tony Iro, number 3 Kevin Iro, number 4 Joe Light, number 5 Bell, 6 Byrne. Scrum half today is Edwards. Gregory in a bit of dispute with the club. 8 is Lucas, 9 Dermot in for the Indian Kids, and 10 Shelford, 11 Potter, 12 Platt, 13 Hanley, 14 substitute Preston, and 15 Betts. And the Warrington side, number 1 is Woods, number 2 Bacon, number 3 Duane, number 4 Lyon, number 5 Williamson, number 6 Bishop, number 7 Blake, 8 Roach, 9 Thursfield, 10 Davidson, 11 Sanderson, 12 Roberts, and 13 Gregory. And the Warrington substitutes at 14 Thornley and at 15 Malloy. Wigan, having won the toss, have decided they'll defend the spying cop end of the ground, and so it will be Blake to kick off from left to right for Warrington. Warrington attacking down towards the spine cop end of the ground. Low and hard along the ground. Wigan decide they're going to belt it back into the Warrington half. Coming to John Woods, taking it beautifully at full back, trying to force his way through and dragging them up to the halfway line. Gregory from behind to play the ball. Short pass. Warrington tight in the forwards as Thursfield comes up to act in half back. And a kick behind the Wigan defence. Tony Iro, wearing number 2 out on the left wing, picks it up. There's a lot of white jerseys in front of him. And the Warrington defenders moving up quickly. Bury him. Wigan trying to fight the way out of their own 22. Dermot onto Shelford. Shelford running a bit crossfield and wide and doesn't gain any territory. Warrington coming in hard, coming in fast and pinning Wigan down. Flung back for the kick. Line belts it down. Woods lets it sit up for himself in his own half, trying to run through. And this time it's Wigan who've moved up quickly, and once again Warrington pushed back. Warrington having all the ball in these early stages. Switch among the forwards, and Wigan moving up, holding them. Now it's Warrington finding it difficult to batter the way through with using Roach as a battering ram, their big hefty prop forward. Shelford coming on a beautiful slip pass, and Warrington have made the break. Sanderson turning through, and Hanson puts him down, and that was a nice clean break. Bishop quickly behind to play the ball. Long pass out to Gregory. There's an overlap on the far wings. Warrington attack, and Wigan backpedaling quickly. Edwards coming in, holds his man. 5 tackles gone, says the referee. Warrington try drop goal, and it goes wide and dead. So it's back to the Wigan 25. All the pressure in these first 2-3 minutes coming from Warrington. Dermot onto Lucas. Lucas onto Shelford. Shelford ball tucked under his jumper, sends a bad pass out which Tony Iro can't take. Lets it roll into touch. A bit of unsteadiness in the Wigan half. Warrington giving Wigan a touch of the dithers at the moment as the referee wants him out on the 10-yard line. Bishop gone to scrum half. Wearing number 6. Gets it out to Blake. Blake drops it. And Wigan gratefully fall on that. Burn onto that quickly. So it goes out to Hanley, onto Hampson. Hampson trying to get a gap going. Bringing Bell inside, and Bell is down. First touch of the ball after a long period of a 6-match suspension. Out to Edwards. Edwards back. Wigan doing the run around, not coming off as Platt is buried. On to Edwards, a long pass to Edwards. Edwards keeping it moving. On to Lydon. Lydon's dropped it, regains possession. Referee doesn't miss those. Holdsworth, one of the top referees, right on top of the game. Both defences playing very strongly in Sotherley. Bishop puts it in, gets it out to Blake. Blake trying to come straight down the middle, met by Byrne. Takes him cleanly. Gregory waiting behind the play of the ball. Blake plays it to himself. Gregory following it up, wanting a quick play. Thursfield has gone up, and it's Thursfield who's acting half-back onto Bishop. Bishop holding, changing direction. He's going to go down the middle. Managed to get his pass in onto Sanderson. Sanderson battering his way towards the Wigan line. It's all Warrington at the moment as Thursfield moves it across. Wigan forwards come. The ball's been lost again. Wigan gratefully take it. Wigan turning defence into attack. Streaking down the field onto Lydon. Lydon trying to come through. Coming very, very strongly. A terrific run by Lydon. Gained a lot of ground for Wigan. Dermott's up, wanting a quick play the ball. Dermott moves it on to Shelford, standing still to Hanley. Hanley jinking and dancing, dumming, getting nowhere at all. He's easily put down by the Warrington defenders. Now it's Iro coming over to act in half-back. Iro, short pass onto Bell, who's cut inside, and Bell snatched out of the air. Dermott to Edwards. Edwards puts the kick behind the defence. Bacon coming back for it, has it covered on his own 25. Iro going up, Bacon running it out, running cross field. Eludes one very nicely. And it's Byrne who comes in and takes him well to put him down. A little bit of hanging on as a quick play of the ball. Warrington powering the way forward, keeping the ball moving. And this is doing and throwing as Davidson tries to bat, and he's lost the ball. Comes to Lucas. Lucas on to Iro. Iro taking them with him. Big, strong, hefty centre. Iro menace to defences. Comes out to Hanley. Hanley standing still, just lobs it across onto Shelford. Shelford a long pass which Hampson does well to take. Bounced before it got to him. Picked it up cleanly. Edwards up quickly, wanting to get the game moving. Changing direction, dancing his way through. It's fouled by Roach. Roach really bounced him down, and that's knocked all the wind out of Edwards. Clean tattle, shook him. Kick behind the Wigan defence. And that's a beautiful kick. Finds touch, couple of yards short of the corner flag. And Edwards very, very shaken by that hard, rough, tough tattle by Roach. His trainer goes on, gives him a cold sponge with a holy water, and it brings him to. It will be Bishop to feed. Bishop puts it in, and it's Bishop who gets it out. He's trying to dance his way through at the side of the scrum. Meets the forwards as they come away. Gregory, Warrington now back in their own 25, and Wigan forwards moving in quickly, pushing them back. 6 minutes gone, still no score. Warrington now in their own 25, having to do the hard graft, and the forwards come battling the way out of trouble. Thursfield waiting behind the play of the ball, and Wigan coming in hard. Lucas going in with Platt, lining up for the kick, and here it comes. Awkward one for Iro. Hits the ground, bounces away from him. That was a nicely judged kick. Put Iro under a lot of trouble. He'd no chance at all of getting that. That was a good kick. 2 balls on the field now. It'll be Wigan to feed. Bit of manoeuvring in the front rows even. Shoots out the Wigan side. Long one goes to Byrne. Byrne on to Lydon. Lydon nearly through, and he swung round and bounced down. Hanley coming up to act in half back out to Dermot a long pass on to Burn, well tattled, low and hard and effectively and put down. Lucas going round the narrow side of the field, pushing his way forward. Dermot moves it across, low pass, Edwards doing the run around. Burn just can't get through, he's snatched out of the air by Bishop. Edwards from the play of the ball, once again a good long ranging kick, but it's rolled into the touchline. Williamson has it covered, Wigan moving up, and down he goes inside his own 25 this game, to-ing and throwing from one 25 to another, and both defences coming in hard. Ball's been dropped, picked up again, referee giving the knock on. That was through the ferocity of the tackling. Both sides losing a lot of possession as defenders are coming in, and Hampson's gone into loose forward, Hanley's gone to full back, and the ball shoots out the Wigan side slowly. Onto Bell a long one, onto Hanley, who's gone to full back, he moves it across. Onto Iro to Lydon. Lydon can't get away from the tackling. Duane puts him down. Onto Hanley. Hanley holding it. Little jink. Swerving wide onto Hampson. Hampson holding it. Gets it out to Bell. Bell streaking for the corner. Puts in a kick. Edwards is chasing, but it's too far. Rolls dead. Well, that was a nice cross kick by Bell, but just a little too far for Edwards, and that was a good attacking move by Wigan. Warrington with the tap from their own 25. Forwards in, going in hard. 3 Wigan forwards in to push Davidson back. Thursfield from behind to play the ball, a little dummy. Shelford gets it out onto Roach, and Shelford eventually managed to force him down. Thursfield moving it across. Ball's gone. Referee says gone forward. Warrington line a little bit flat there. So it'll be Wigan with the feed. Edwards at scrum half today. In it goes, it comes out to Edwards, he's penalised for it, for not putting it in correctly. But a relief that for Warrington, they were under a certain amount of pressure, and Lyon coming over to kick for touch down the Wigan right wing. And that's a good touch finding kick by Lyon. Halfway between the halfway line and the Wigan 25. Thursfield coming over onto Blake. Blake hands it on, tight in the forwards again. Out to Blake. Blake a long pass onto Duane. Duane easily tattled. Davidson behind to play the ball to Gregory, and a good tattle by Platt. Thursfield behind to play the ball onto Blake. Blake a long pass, and the ball's loose, gone backwards. No, the referee said it's a bit of a groans from the Warrington spectators. A long wide pass, couldn't be taken cleanly, so it's scrummed down right on the halfway line. 10 minutes of the first half gone, still no score as Edwards comes round from the Warrington side to put it in. Shoots straight out the side, the referee lets it go. Nice break by Blake, and Edwards takes him at the second attempt. Edwards kicks it through, so they're back to one as Thursfield moves it onto Bishop. Bishop gets it onto Wood. Wood trying to develop an attack. Referee signalling that Warrington are back to one. Davidson using his strength and his power managed to get his pass in. Warrington playing well as Gregory goes tearing over the 25 line. Lydon comes in with the help of Potter, and a good break from acting half back. And a Duane's going for the line, and the referee gives it as Duane goes over in the corner to give the lead. Hampson tried to hold him on his back, but Duane's strength and power took him over, and so with 12 minutes gone, Warrington going to a 4-0 lead. Support was there, kept moving well, bit of conference of Sets it up. He's only 3-4 yards in from the right-hand touchline. And short of the near post. Well, a lot of the pressure has come from Warrington. They've got the points on the board. And so Wigan will restart. Good try by the way, and he finished well. John Woods unable to convert the try. Joe Lydon coming up. 12 minutes gone of this first half.
Can you start again?
Lydon. Into the 25 in a bit of no man's land. Wigan forwards, good driving Warrington back. Davidson. And the ball's gone loose on the floor. The referee says play on, and Gregory picks it up and says it's back to 1. Thursfield moving it across. Warrington trying to come down the middle. Runs into 3 Wigan forwards. Blake has to dive with the ball. Warrington keeping the ball moving well. Wigan not putting the men down. They're going in, and that's good tackling by Lucas. John Woods just shoveling it out. There's the kick behind the Wigan defence. Sampson had all the time in the world on his own 25 to take it. Being faced by Bacon and Gregory. And down he has to go. Helped by Roberts. Edwards trying to make a break down the middle once again. Meets strong tackling by these front row men. Hanley now moving it on to Shelford. And there's no quarter being asked for and none given, and that's good strong running by Shelford. A bit of a swing there but by Davidson, but the referee's right on the spot. Comes to Edwards, Edwards kicking, trying to beat this close spot in. The ball's rolling towards the touchline, but it's not going to find it as John Woods comes across. John Woods now getting away from Potter. Potter comes across eventually. Platt just made him hesitate and Potter came over to complete the tackle. Now it's these big forwards like rotting stags tearing into each other. Thursfield from behind the play the ball to Gregory. Gregory making a break, nearly through, and he's still on his feet, and he managed to get his passing back onto Thursfield. Thursfield keeps it moving. And this Warrington pack are combining well together. A lot of good interpassing going on. Bishop puts a left-footed kick in. Sits up for Hampson, just outside his own 25. He's faced with a lot of defenders as he goes to the touchline. Very foolishly runs to the touchline and is pushed over, and that was wasted possession by Wigan. Hampson forced into touch, had all the field to play in and run over to the touchline and paid the penalty for it. And a penalty against Wigan, not packing correctly, right on the halfway line. Blake going to take the kick for touch. It's close and tight to this game so far. Warrington having slightly the better of the exchanges so far, as that pushes Wigan almost back to their own 25. Davidson powering in so big and strong, proving a real handful for the Wigan pack. Now Roach decides he's going to have a goal. Battering ram stuff, like a great big tank tearing in. On to Bishop. Bishop switches direction to Gregory. Gregory puts a little grubby kick in, but it's going to roll dead. It's much too far over the dead ball line. Pretty aimless kick that one. So it'll be a tap from the 22. Edwards coming up, wanting to take it quickly. Gets it on to Bell. Bell, who's coming the line out, nearly made the break, just taken at the last minute, come right in from the centre. Claimed there's lying on as Edwards moves it across to Shelford. Shelford decides that only lobbed that one, and Edwards is going to get crucified. A bit of an infirmary pass. As Dermot comes over now from behind the play the ball, working a bit of a switch. Wigan now trying to get it out to the left wing, and that's good, solid tackling as Platt goes down. Joe Lydon once again kicking through. Going to be covered by John Woods in his own 25, 5 yards in from the touchline, running crossfield. A lot of cherry and white jerseys up there to put him down as Blake goes back to acting half-back. Long pass inside to Bishop. Bishop running back into trouble. Wigan were wide open on the far wing, but he couldn't get the ball out. Blake moves it out onto Davidson. Davidson powering his way forward. Wyers forward, driving in at Wigan as Roberts, and the ball's gone loose. The referee says gone forward and will scrum down, and this absolutely ferocious, this tackling. Titanic stuff. And substitution being made. Thornley is going to come on. The referee stopping the clock. Wigan in possession. Iro. Berenice went into him there. Bell coming very much into the middle of the field and proving quite a handful. And I think it's Duane who's come off. And Thornley come on. Dermot having a run and a penalty for offside at the play of the ball. Referee said they've not gone far enough back. Slightly to the left of the post. 35 yards out. Hanley having a word with the referee, decides they're going to kick for goal, and Lydon being called up. 18 minutes gone, almost halfway through this first half. Warrington leading by 4 points to 0. Duane, the try scorer, having come off injured, been replaced by Thornley, and Joe Lydon with a chance to pull 2 points back. Just slightly to the left of the post, perhaps 4 or 5 yards to the left of the upright as he looks down towards the pavilion end of the ground. Stabs at it, lifts it high and true, and it's over. So it's now Wigan 2, Warrington 4. Nothing in this tense, close battle. Blake to restart, belts it hard. Hampson traps it, second attempt, bringing Iro into the middle. Iro trying to crash his way through, gets his pass in. Wigan making the break down the far wing. Good streaking, coming back inside. Iro turned it in, and the covers there. Wigan still fighting the way forward. And we've been good play by Byrne. Byrne being held, he's been smothered by Warrington players. Out to Edwards. Edwards to Shelford. Shelford powering onto it. Gets his pass in, and Wigan have made the break. Byrne streaking for the line. I don't think he's got enough speed. He's still on his feet, and his ankles are tapped, and down he has to go on the 25. Good break by Wigan as Edwards moves it on to Hanley. Hanley holding it, decides he's going to go on his own, and the defence closes up, and down he has to go. Dermot waiting behind to play the ball. On to Edwards. Edwards holding it on to Byrne. Byrne gets it out to Lydon. Lydon dumbing, going inside, gets it out onto Iro, and there's plenty of cover there to take him. Now Wigan applying quite a bit of pressure as Edwards comes over to act in half-back. Edwards lobs it onto Byrne. Byrne holding it. A long pass from Byrne. Wigan getting the ball out. It goes loose onto Hanley. Hanley dumbing. Hanley trying to go through, and he's well taken from behind. Referee says 5 tackles have gone. Warrington have defended well on their own 25, lying up very flat as it comes out across the line. Wigan hoists the kick. Bacon going back, takes it very well. Gets away from an attempted tackle, and then he's down 12 yards out, right in front of his post. Strong tackle by Gerard Byrne. John Woods coming inside, being held, and Byrne is in tackling again, doing a lot of good work in the centre of the field. Now it's Davidson, big, strong forward, and he's proving quite a handful for Wigan. These packs sorting each other out as they come in. Byrne goes in again with Potter. Round the narrow side, these big hefty forwards gaining valuable, beautifully flipped back. Thursfield trying to get it moving. 5 tackles gone, says the referee, as they brought the ball up to 10 yards from the halfway line. Thursfield. Blake, a lovely short pass. It's kicked through, the ball's loose. Edwards drops on it. Dermot out onto Lucas. Lucas decides brute force is the thing to do, and he just puts his shoulder in and charges forward. Dermot onto Bell. Bell dumbing with it, trying to straighten up, and he's picked up and dumped. Dermot to Edwards. Edwards moving it across onto Byrne. Byrne, a nice inside flip onto Hanley, and it's come off. Hanley sees a gap, and he snatched out of the air from behind. Managed to keep the ball moving. Comes onto Dermot, onto Hampson. Hampson running, taking it up to the line. See the grab. He's gone for the line. Puts a little head kick. It's going to apply for obstruction. The referee's given it. Put in a little kick there. Little chip through from Hampson. Player couldn't resist the temptation to touch him. Referee right on the spot with it. Hanley having a word with Holdsworth, the referee, and Wigan. Hanley still chatting to the referee. And Lydon going to be called over to take the kick for goal. 23 minutes gone, a chance for Wigan to level the scores as the sand is brought on for Joe Lydon. Well, that was good play from him. A beautiful inside flip from Gerard Byrne caused a lot of the problem there. And then Hanley cut through, and although he was snatched from behind, he managed to keep it moving. And Hampson with a loose ball made a good run. The chip over brought him the obstruction for which I think he was playing. Wigan coming back into this game a lot more now. Warrington were right on top in the early stage, but Wigan clawing the way back into it. It's not easy for them, but they're coming, applying a lot more pressure now on Warrington. And Lydon comes up, stabs at it, and it's over, and that makes the scores level after 24 minutes play. Wigan 4, Warrington 4. And we have a great game of rugby on our hands here on this New Year's Day. One try to Warrington to Duane, 2 penalties to Joe Lydon. Blake. Stabs at it, it's a high one. Oh, and Nairo and Byrne, but Nairo's not picked it up even. 2 players getting into each other's way. Oh, bad play by Wigan. They were very, very close to each other. Iro dropped it and then looked at it and left it there. Bishop to feed, 10 yards out from the Wigan line. It's out to Bishop, and he drops the ball. Referee says it's gone back, as it had. Gregory to Blake. Blake to John Woods. John Woods holding it. And the ball's gone loose, been snapped up again by Roberts. Roberts trying to drive his way forward. That was an odd play, the ball. He just walked over it. A lot of tension in this game. He comes out to Roach. Roach trying to crash his way through. Edwards and Hanley hanging on to him, mauling away at him. Thursfield waiting behind the play, the ball. Gets it out to Blake. Blake trying to crash, puts a little grubber kick in, and he dives. And the referee's given the try, a good try to Blake. Caught the Wigan defence napping, little grubber kick there. There was nobody back, and Blake underneath the post, making it now Warrington 8, Wigan 4. And an easy kick right underneath the post. Warrington have come right back, and that was set up through a bad mistake between Iro and Byrne. And John Woods has no problem with that, making it 10. Oh, we're going to have to fight the way back again. They just looked as if we're coming back into this game. 27 minutes gone. Wigan 4, Warrington 10. And that was very careless defensive lapse by Wigan. Let them back into the game. Roberts having a bit of trouble taking that, gets it at the second attempt and has to go down with it on his own 25. Long pass from Blake onto Bishop. Bishop coming back inside. Byrne knocks him down. He managed to get his pass in. Wigan not downing the men. Warrington keeping it moving, taking advantage of it. Short pass from Thursfield. Davidson battering his way forward, plays it quickly. Thursfield managed to get it out. Blake has to juggle it onto Bishop, onto Gregory. Gregory trying to make the break and Burns across, covering well. Blake throwing out some beautiful long passes, causing a lot of trouble, and then he kicks. Iro going back for it. Takes it on his own 25. Big, strong, good runner, trying to cut down the middle. Shouldered down and belted down. Nobody ready for it on the Wigan side. And it's Bell who takes it. Loose play by Wigan. They were not well organised then. The break from acting half-back. Bell up behind the play the ball. Out to Edwards. Edwards holding it. Lobs it to Burns. Burns a long one onto Hampson. Hampson puts an overhead kick in. Being chased by Bacon and by Iro, and he can't, it rolls into touch. Touch judge signals that it's Wigan to feed. And that little kick of Hampson's has come off. Edwards to feed, feet are all over the place, forwards not down properly as Edwards puts it in, hangs a bit in the pack, that's a bad pass to Byrne. All he can do is fall on it, missed him by a long way. Lydon coming over behind the play the ball onto Hampson, who's sensibly gone in among the forwards, and he's swung round by Thornley. Lydon onto Shelford. Shelford decided he's going to play him straight down the middle, lets it go. Lucas moving it across field onto Iro. Iro can't get it, gets it out, but it's knocked on. Bell couldn't take it cleanly. Iro being harassed by the defenders who were trying to get the ball out to Bell. So this time it will be Bishop to put the ball in. In it goes, looked a bit like feeding, he's got away but it, comes on to Blake. Blake being Byrne hanging on to him, puts his leg across, throws him down. Woods onto Gregory, Gregory running the big one, it's Burns who takes him onto Bishop, Bishop moving it back inside. Iro going in, coming in strongly to take the forwards. Wigan moving in quickly, and it's a penalty for, and the referee Holdsworth not happy with Blake querying his decision, giving Wigan the penalty. Referee looking at the ball, see if it's the right pressure. Wigan now, 10 minutes to go to half time, 6 points behind, still no try on the ball as Dermot onto Lucas. Lucas holding it, decides he's going to put his head down and charge into them. Byrne waiting, first pass, Byrne takes it, changes it back onto Edwards, back onto Byrne. There's a big gap as Hanley goes for the line, tries to batter his way over, and he's in. Strong finishing by Hanley, and that was a complicated move by Byrne and the forwards. They were crisscrossing, and eventually Wigan get the first try to make it now Wigan 8, Warrington 10, and that was good play by Wigan. Obviously a well planned, well rehearsed move, and it came off, and Hanley had the strength and the power to take himself over as the tackler came in right on the line. Fortunes ebbing and flowing in this game. No place for faint hearts out there on this park this afternoon. Lydon kicked two good goals already. It's just 11 yards in from this touchline, just outside the 25. Lydon stabs at it, And it looks as if it could just scrape in, and it has, just inside the near post. And that levels the scores. 10 points all. That's good kicking by Lydon under pressure. Now what are we going to see from this kick-off? The last time Wigan made a real hash of it between Burns and Hyro. Mustn't have got the signals right, as Blake put in a good long deep kick up to the Wigan try line. And it's Blake once more. Similar sort of a kick. This time Burns takes it cleanly, hands it on to Hyro. Hyro running crossfield, straightens up. Just not quite through. Shelford powering onto that, gains his 10 yards of ground, lets the ball go, lost possession, and Warrington have it. Another bad mistake by Wigan, bit of tupping going on, and Blake holding it, running it wide. There's a big overlap. It comes out to Thornley. Thornley gets it out to Bacon, who can't take it cleanly. The referee says it's gone, knocked on, and Thornley looking in a bit of trouble. Referee stops the clock. Well, Wigan again making a mistake, losing possession near their own 25, and Warrington quickly onto it, capitalising it, moving it out well. Thornley's final pass was nowhere near Bacon really, and he couldn't take it cleanly, and in the movement Thornley incurred an injury. Thornley, who's already substituting for Duane. Looks as if we could well be having another substitution. And it looks as if the Thornley looking badly shaken. Looks like a neck injury. Gregory going over to have a good look at him. And he's back on his feet. And as Edwards is penalised, and Edwards protesting strongly. No messing from Molesworth. That's the second time he's got Edwards for feeding, and Edwards protesting, not happy with that. Not his usual role, scrum half, and that's twice he's been penalised, as Blake just taps it into touch. Thursfield wanting to get on with it quickly. Switched on to Davidson. Davidson being picked up in the air and hurled down. Thursfield out to Blake. Blake, a long pass out, not a good pass, and they've lost a lot of ground. Edwards up quickly, and that pass has lost Warrington yardage. John Wood sends a short one. Warrington battling the way into the Wigan 25. John Wood's up as acting half-back. On to Gregory. Gregory trying to take the forwards on. Lucas goes in, puts him down. Salford giving it all they've got. And that's powerful running by the number 8. Sends a long one out to Thornley, but it goes behind him. 5 tackles gone, says the referee. He's caught in possession, so it's going to be the turnover. Byrne behind the play the ball. On to Edwards. Wigan standing still as it goes out to Hanley. Hanley says, I'm coming down the middle, but Warrington's hang on to him and force him down. No way through. Dermot on to Edwards. Edwards doing a switch on to Bell, who's coming to the centre of the field again. Bell looking quite fit after his long layoff. It's on to Lucas round the narrow side. Lucas just charging his way forward up to 10 yards from the halfway line. Out to Edwards. Edwards to Shelford. Shelford being well taken and bounced down. Referee says 5 tackles have gone, and Wigan are finding it terribly difficult to make any ground as it's flung back to Lydon. Lydon hoists a high ball. Bacon going back for it. It's an awkward ball. He doesn't take it cleanly. His feet go from under him. He had a clear run into the line. He lets the ball go and let it go forward, and that's another mistake. Well, Bacon dropped it. The line was wide open when Hyro picked it up, and his feet slipped from under him. As he got to his feet, he tried to get it out to Byrne, and the referee gave him the knock on. Bishop wanting to get it in quickly as Wigan forwards not up. Bishop puts it in, it shoots straight out the side onto Blake. Byrne and Edwards hanging on to Blake. Gregory gone across quickly as the pack had broken up. Now it's tight in the forwards. Lucas going in hard again into the tackle. Thursfield waiting behind to play the ball to Gregory. Gregory, and that was a bad pass. The referee's letting it go. And they're forced into touch with a bit of indecision. Probably a lot of booing from the spectators. Davidson looked as if he wasn't ready for the ball, wasn't expecting it, and it bounced away from him. And Shelford it is now who's needing attention. Wigan packing 5 forwards. As to put it in, Edwards comes away with it quickly, going through on his own. And Woods comes across well to bury him. Byrne behind the play the ball, onto Shelford. Shelford going back inside. Shelford who lets it go. Wigan have lost possession again. And Shelford, who's in a lot of trouble, think he might have to come off. And now it's Warrington keeping the ball moving well. Long pass. Gregory does well to take that. Wigan coming on. Tempers are rising. The temperature is soaring. Thursfield. Turned back inside. Onto Blake, and Blake drops it. Potter drops on it very gratefully. Hanley's in behind to play the ball onto Hampson, who's linked up. Hampson trying to make a break, and the tattlers come in hard and sure and put him down. And a penalty for Light. Referee not happy with that in the tattle. And Shelford is going to be brought off and Betts on. Hanley looking around. Wigan wanting to make the substitution. Lydon goes over. Now is he going to kick? Shelford coming off. Betts going on. 39 minutes gone. Right on the stroke of half time. And Lydon going to try to put Wigan into the lead. 10 points each. We'll come right up to half time. And this has been a great game of football this afternoon. Tremendous stuff, hard and tough and rugged, and very skillful. I mean, a lot of drop ball, but that has been due more to the ferocity of the tackling than anything else. Players have been going tearing into each other. Line now with a very long one. It's 7 yards inside the Warrington half. Stabs it, he's lifted it high and he's pulled it across the post, and it's held in the in-goal area, running it out now. Betts doesn't take his man at the first effort. Second time he puts Woods down. John Woods put down. Gregory on his own 25. Ball stuffed up his jumper, playing it safe at the moment. Blake, a long pass on to Bishop. Bishop a short one, and a hand goes out and snatches him out of the air. Warrington forwards playing some hard, tough stuff, and the ball's been flirted up in the air, and Wigan are in quickly, pushing Warrington back. Wigan hunting as a pack. A lot of tremendous rivalry between these two teams, and that's the fifth tattle. We're in injury time, and that's a good kick right up to the Wigan 25. And there goes the hooter for the end of the first half. A great first half. Scores absolutely level. Wigan 10, Warrington 10. Out on the field to resume this titanic struggle. The scores level at 10 points each. Both sides with substitutes. Duane having come off and been replaced by Thornley, who seemed to be quite badly hurt, but then started to breathe again, and he's still on the field. Wigan almost on the stroke of half time, replacing Shelford with Betts. Shelford, who'd been limping for quite some time. Wigan then, second half, from left to right, kicking down towards the spine cop end of the ground. Joe Lydon lifts it high and short. Not picked up cleanly, but went backwards. So a Wigan forwards going, pushing the men back. Gregory from behind to play the ball. Potter standing off. Lucas going in hard, helped by Betts. Thursfield moving it across onto Davidson. Davidson moving across the field. Looks like they're lining up for the kick. It goes back. Awkward kick. He had not a lot of time. Hampson on the halfway line. Knocks one off. Hampson coming back a little bit better form. Gaining a lot of confidence. Iro running wide. Crossfield into the centre. Switch on to Edwards. Edwards decided going to go down the middle, dancing and jinking, and he's proving a difficult handful. Takes it up to the 25. Good individual run by Edwards. Wigan now spraying it across the line onto Hanley. Hanley has to take it off his toes. Platt can't get out of that tattling. Lucas holding it, turning it inside onto Hanley. Hanley driving forward, and he drops the ball. Scrum down on the 25. Warrington trainer being called on. Referee stops the clock. Crowd getting restless because the players are all psyched up and tend to sag a little bit when there's a hiatus like this. And Bacon recovered, back on his feet. Wigan penalised, somebody opening the mouth. Referee was trying to get the forward sorted out. The Wigan player opened his mouth and has paid the price for it. Lyon hoists it into touch. 5 yards inside the Wigan half. Thursfield coming up onto Roach. Roach comes driving in. Platt goes in low. Thursfield waiting behind to play the ball, but Roach played it to himself. Thursfield going across onto Davidson. The ball's gone loose. Loose play by Warrington. Slack, untidy play. Gets possession back to Wigan. Wigan now moving it across the field. Byrne onto Edwards. Edwards just couldn't get into his stride. Edwards behind to play the ball. Long one out to Hanley. Hanley holding it, dumbing his way through. Gets it onto Platt. Platt did well to take that. Gets it onto Iro. We're going to have an overlap as Iro holds it onto Bell. Bell going for the line. Has he got the speed? Turns it inside. Edwards goes back, picks it up. Edwards recovering. Gets it out onto Dermot, and Dermot is fouled. Well, Wigan made the break. Couldn't capitalise on it. Comes on to Edwards. A long one onto Byrne. Byrne holding it. A long pass. Has been knocked down. Intercepted and knocked down. That could have been very dangerous if it had gone to hand. And if the Warrington player had missed it, Wigan had a terrific overlap out on the left wing. Well, Wigan had to break down this wing. Couldn't get it back inside to Iro. Will be Edwards to feed the scrum. Edwards puts it in. Wigan going around the opposite side. Onto Byrne. Byrne gets it moving it across. Wigan still going, powering down into the 25. Long lob pass, Hanley moving it across the field. Edwards has it. Onto Hampson. There's a gap as Hampson goes for the line. Gets it out to Iro. Iro has the shot. He's held a yard short. Wanted to play it quickly. Not allowed to do so as Hanley moves it on. Wigan have dropped it. Byrne couldn't take it. Little bit of over-eagerness, snatching at the ball. Wigan now made a couple of clean breaks in this half, but not managed to turn it into points, and it will be Warrington to feed, and probably Warrington to get it out as Bishop goes round, 10 yards out. And it shoots out the Warrington side. Hampson's in quickly. As Woods is caught. Gregory waiting behind to play the ball, sensibly running it away. Runs into Dermot, drags him 4 or 5 yards along with him. Thursfield from behind to play the ball. Blake trying to move it across. Warrington coming onto it hard and straight. Bishop from behind to play the ball. Turning back inside to Bishop. Bishop being caught by Betts. Forced down. Blake dummies to kick, then he gets his kick in, straight into touch. Ball back, Warrington under a lot of pressure at the moment. 35 yards out from the Warrington line, Edwards to feed the scrum. And it's a penalty to Wigan for feet up. Joe Lydon going over, probably banging into the 25. And he finds it, 15 yards out. Wigan crowd roar, urging the team on. As it comes on to Lucas. Lucas taking them on, trying to drive his way through. Trying to suck in the defenders. Wigan look as if they're lining up for a move here around this play the ball. Switch to Edwards. Edwards dumbling with it onto Hanley. Oh, and Hanley's knocked down. The referee said he got him on the chest. Hanley coming through hard, and went the touch judges on. Bit of aggro going on in the tattle. Crowd was shouting for a high tattle. Hanley not getting up, but the referee signalled that it was across the chest. Hanley was coming through hard on that when he was stopped in his tracks. And the referee giving Wigan a penalty right underneath the pulse. Or is he signalling to stop the clock? Judges gone behind the pulse, so Wigan have the penalty. Hanley needing the reviving sponge. Straight kick. 7 minutes of the second half gone. Straight kick for Lydon, who's kicked well this afternoon. Scores level at 10 points each. Great excitement among the crowd, great tension. It's a fantastic bank holiday match this. Lydon stabs at it, and it's over, and Wigan go into a 12 points to 10 lead as Joe Lydon slots over the penalty. And Wigan had the upper hand in the first 8 minutes of this half. And number 15 is coming on. Malloy is coming on. I think it could well be Bacon coming off. Was hurt some time ago. Might mean a bit of a switch round in the Warrington team. Straight to Iro, coming hard at them, driving forward. Big strong lad. Bit of an ooh there as he thought that Lyons had had a swing now. Lucas said, I'll play it in the forwards. And he's dumped down by Davidson, who came in very hard out to Edwards. Edwards spreading long passes. Betts is nearly through and he's taken from behind. And now Wigan playing good attractive football as Hanley sends a long one. Wigan stretching it right across the field as Hampson puts the kick in. It's going to go straight into touch. Back to the Wigan 25, and now it's Wigan who are guilty of a ball back situation. Bishop to feed. All he can do is fall on it at the side of the scrums. Gregory comes over onto Sanderson. Sanderson running straight at the Wigan defenders. Thursfield to Malloy. Malloy getting his first touch, runs into Edwards, hangs on to him, and he's picked up. Now it's Warrington's turn to attack, keeping it tight in the forwards, fighting the way forward an inch at a time. Bishop sends a long one out, going back inside, gets his pass on to Blake. Blake going for the line. His pass has gone astray. Wigan move up. Warrington managed to fall on the ball. I think the referee, yes, is signalling that 5 have gone. And it good kick, finds touch, 10 yards short of the Wigan line. Now it's Warrington's turn to pile on the pressure, although Wigan should get this ball from the scrum, and they do. Onto Iros, linked up, coming between from the wing, and he's picked up and hurled down. Platt. Defenders coming hard to meet him. Lucas doing the graft in his own 25. Davidson knocks him down. Now it's Potter. Potter trying to drag them with him, and Wigan struggling in their own 25. Warrington coming in hard into the tattle. Break behind the acting half-back. Hanley's up there first. It bounces well for him. He has Edwards with him on his inside. Edwards has a run for the line. Has not got enough speed as Wood takes him from behind. Wigan wanting a quick play the ball as Hanley's holding on to it, moving it across. There's a big gap as Wigan go over, and the pass has been knocked down and intercepted by Warrington. Well, that's a let-off for Warrington, but they got back quickly enough and well enough, and they saved the situation once more. Long passes stretching Wigan. Edwards covering across. Ball comes out onto the wing, onto Williamson. Williamson put down by Bell. Blake waiting behind to play the ball to Malloy. Malloy's been hurled back by the Wigan forwards. Push back 5 yards. Thursfield coming over. And that's been intercepted. Betts in the right place there to take that. Onto Edwards. Edwards to Byrne. Byrne onto Hanley. Hanley gets his pass in, and Warrington defenders come out hard, come out fast. Warrington lying up very close as Wigan play the ball, trying to batter the way towards the line. Warrington lying up very, very close and coming in quickly as Potter takes it. Short one onto Platt. Platt trying to take them with him. Arms are locked, 10 yards out, right underneath the posts. Byrne handing it on to Edwards. Edwards holding it, bringing it back inside for Hanley. Hanley trying to cut through again. He's gone for the line, and he's in. Hanley, good move between Edwards and Hanley. And Hanley's speed and determination and his power takes him over for his second try. Wigan now 16. Bit of frustration getting into the Warrington players there. They were very upset as Hanley went over for that. Highly delighted Wigan spectators, of course, on their own ground. Made an in and out start to the season, but now they're fighting to get in the top 4. And Lydon makes it 18. Wigan with an 8-point lead. Wigan 18, Wigan seem to be gaining the upper hand in this second half. 14 minutes gone at the early stages of this game. It was Warrington, but Wigan have battled their way back into it. Blake. Hampson knocks it back, doesn't take it cleanly at the first. On to Dean Bell. Dean Bell running across his post. Feet are taken from under him, tries to get up again, but the defenders are there to make sure he stays down. Dermot from behind the play the ball. Short pass on to Platt. Dermot. On to Iro. Iro straightens up. There's no, lets the ball go. Wigan still lucky to have that. They move it out. On to Bell. Bell coming up to the halfway line. There's bags of cover. And Davidson got hurt as he came into that battle. Hanley with it. Hanley a bad pass. Not picked up cleanly. And Blake is also looking hurt. Some of these Warrington players now to show signs of strain, and Blake is looking none too happy, and Woods is coming up to stand off, and Blake is going to full back. Warrington having trouble getting the heads in. Very untidy scrummage in, and Edwards has won it at the side of the scrum. Hanley waiting behind to play the ball, gets it out to Hampson. Hampson holding it. Gonna have a run on his own, bringing Iro inside. Gets out of one tackle, gets out of another. Still battling his way forward. Comes out to Hanley. Hanley on to Platt. Platt trying to crash his way through. His legs are taken from under him. A good tackle by Bishop. Now Dean Bell taking it from acting half-back. Fights his way forward up to the halfway line. Dermot to Edwards. Edwards back to Dermot, moving it across. Short pass, Wigan are through. They're streaking for the line, on to Betts. Betts turns it inside, and there's a trip. There's a trip. Edwards going through, foot came out, put him down. I think this could well be a dismissal. Referee pointing to the dressing room. Well, that's the most unusual for John Woods, a very clean player. Wigan surged down the middle, broke through cleanly, and the foot went out in desperation, and John Woods is going off. Scoreboard saying, "Oh, you devil," but I think that's a little bit not in the best of taste. Joe Lydon, another easy kick. Wigan leading by 8 points, 18 points to 10. 18 minutes of the second half gone, almost 3/4 way through this game. That could well be the nail in Warrington's coffin. Lydon then a couple of steps away, down to the cup, stabs at it, lifts it high, and he's missed. Missed the simplest of goals. However, Warrington will be dropping out from the 25 and under a lot of pressure as they're down to 12 men and have been struggling in this half. Blake coming up to take the drop out. Hoists a high one. Byrne takes it well. Byrne looking for Bell, hands it on to Bell. Bell running across the field. Puts his shoulder in, tries to take them with him. On to Iro. Iro's legs are taken. He gets out of a tackle and he's still dancing his way through. On to Platt and Wigan tearing away now. New lease of life. Bell doing the run around. Brought back inside onto Betts. Betts' feet are taken from under him with good tackling. Lucas wanting this on the burst, and he gets it. He runs straight at the opposition. Takes him 5 yards of ground with him. Dermot coming again, and Wigan line very deep at the moment. Dean Bell's in the middle. Comes on to Edwards. Wigan working a switch. And that's an obstruction. The Wigan move didn't come off. Wigan player went through without the ball. And Holdsworth rightly gives the obstruction. Wigan trying a move. They mistimed it. And so that's a bit of relief for Warrington. Kicking for touch down the Wigan right wing. And it's a good kick. Touch judge marks it 8 yards inside the Wigan half. Thursfield onto Malloy. Malloy runs at Lucas. And Dermot, they put him down. Thursfield goes behind Davidson. Nice pass and the ball's gone loose. Been kicked through. Referees given the knock on. Bit of loose play there. Warrington couldn't take it cleanly. Wigan to feed. Warrington packing 5 forwards and they're all over the place. Some tidy scrummaging. Edwards puts it in. Edwards coming round the narrow side. There's nobody with him. Being held from behind. Bishop chases him round the side of the scrum. Bell decides he's going to take them on. Wanting to get into the game. Wanting to get match fit. As Dermot comes up onto Lucas. Lucas well tattled, low and hard. Good tattle by Malloy there. Onto Edwards. Edwards back to Dermot. Dermot dummying. Tries to go through the middle. Sandwiched under the forwards. Now it's Hanley's turn. Hanley moves it. Long pass. Wigan trying to move it up. Warrington defence very solid at the moment as they take Wigan in the 5th tattle on the halfway line. Kick through. Going to go straight into touch, I think. Yes, over the touch line. So it's ball back to the halfway line. But the referee says it was on the 6th tattle, so it's a play the ball to Salford. To Warrington. That was a slip of the tongue. Usually do the Salford games. Warrington now tight in the forwards. Blake playing with a lot of power and a lot of strength. Now it's Wigan who are having to defend as Blake moves it on to Gregory. Gregory's still on his feet. On to Blake. Blake holding it. Puts a little dangerous grubber kick in towards the Wigan line. Kicked up. And the referee blows for offside from the grubber kick. Judging Williamson to have been in front of the kicker. "23 minutes gone as Joe Lydon comes over. Slices it into touch. Lyons gone to full back. As Dermot takes this, gives it to Potter. Potter taking them with him, gains a good 10 yards of ground. Edwards wanting it at first pass. It's Platt who gets it though. Edwards from behind to play the ball. Hoists a high one. And that's straight into touch. Well, it's a long time since we saw so many ball back. So the Bishop to feed. Gregory has been pulled out of the pack and is in the standoff position. Blake's gone to centre. As they come round onto Gregory. Gregory being followed by Hanlon. He turns it inside onto Blake. Blake gets it out to Williamson on the wing, and that's good play. And the Wigan cover comes back to take them. That was good play from the scrum by Warrington. Blake now inside. Moved across onto Malloy. Malloy trying to batter his way through the Wigan defenders. Thursfield. Short one. Onto Roach. Roach could barge him forward. Warrington decided they can do it in the pack. Wigan trying to push them back 8 yards out from the Wigan line. Warrington not surrendered as Blake, a little overhead kick, and it's knocked over the dead ball line by Iro. So it's a drop out from underneath the Wigan post. 25 minutes gone. Wigan 18, Warrington 10 as Wigan drop out from underneath the sticks. Joe Lydon lifts a high, deep ball. Lyon takes it just in his own half. Potter goes in with Platt. Wigan, Edwards penalised for offside. Miles offside. Penalty to Warrington just outside the Wigan 25. Warrington decide they're going to go for goal. They're 8 points behind. If he can get this, then they'll need a converted try. Bishop. Diminutive figure. Left-footed kicker. He's kicking from the left-hand side as he looks at the post. He stabs at it. And it's hit the post and bounced out. Let off for Wigan. Regained possession and Bell coming away strongly. Wigan will be glad to have that in their own 25. Bell plays it to himself. Fights his way forward. Gains another 10 yards. Dermot. Lucas on his lead. It goes on the narrow side onto Iro. Iro playing it the hard way. And Williamson looking hurt in that tattle as it comes on to Lucas, and Lucas relishing this in the forwards. Crowd are groaning, they wanting more than this from Wigan. Goes out to Potter, Potter spraying it across. Long one behind them. Wigan trying to make the break, going down the middle. Bet stricken over the halfway line, he has support, and his pass has gone astray. It's been intercepted by Warrington. Bishop now bringing it inside. And Warrington back up to the Wigan 25, in with a chance. Warrington now still fighting the waves, snatched out of the air just inside the Wigan 25. Blake going back inside, proving elusive and difficult to pull down. Forwards managed to get the pass in. Wigan sealing up the gap. Wigan defence holding very solid, but they're under a lot of pressure at the moment. As now Warrington start to turn it on. Near the Wigan 25, Gregory trying to batter his way through, and his arms are locked. He bounced down to the ground. Referee saying 5 tackles have gone. As Bishop puts a little grubber kick in, it's covered by the Wigan defenders. They have the ball 5 yards out. Little short pass near their own line. War of attrition here as the forwards fighting for every inch. Dragging themselves forward, ploughing the way down the field. And Platt knocked down to the ground. Dermot round the opposite narrow side. Wigan dummying the way out of the 25, go down in the 5th tattle. Flung back. And there's an overhead kick. And it rolls into touch. Not a lot of ground gain, just 5 yards. And minutes going by. Wigan still with this 8-point lead, and Warrington coming right back into the game in this last 7 or 8 minutes. Bishop comes over. Warrington, of course, a man short. Bishop feeds, gets it out onto Gregory. Gregory holding it, dummying. Well tattled by Iro and Byrne. Blake coming over behind the play of the ball. Blake hands it on. Warrington forwards giving it all they've got. Blake coming up to act in half-back. Gets it back onto Blake. Blake keeping it moving onto Gregory. Gregory moving it across. Wigan coming hard. Warrington handling this if it's red hot. Malloy gets it moving. Ball's been dropped and Wigan will have this. Onto Iro. Iro has Hanley with him, can't get it out to Hanley. Hanley has to go back for it, and there's trouble in the centre of the field. Following the play, there's a Wigan player out on the floor. There's a Warrington player out on this side. He got hurt as he went into the tackle. Didn't see what happened in the middle of the field. The referee having a word, calling the touch judge over, trying to sort out the fracas in the middle of the pitch. And it's sin bin for two players, for Platt and Roberts, and a penalty to Wigan. So it's 12 versus 11, and the referee stops the clock, comes running over, and this player looks quite badly injured down here. And it's the hooker, Thursfield, looking in a bad way, and Williamson also limping very badly on this wing. Referee says, come on, let's get on with it. There's Thursfield's carried off, so Warrington lose another player, down to 10 men. And having lost the hooker, as Joe Lydon belts it right over the top of the popular side stand. Lucas moving it across onto Potter. Potter driving in up to the halfway line. On to Edwards. Edwards back to Dermot. And going to give the obstruction. Wigan penalised for obstruction. And Warrington wanting to make a substitution. And Bacon back on the field as Blake comes up with a tap onto Malloy. Malloy running at the Wigan forwards who wait for him. Blake onto Davidson. And Davidson being pulled back towards the 25, plays it to himself and charges forward. Wigan were caught a little bit napping there. Davidson, the opportunist, quickly away. Warrington trying to keep it moving now, right underneath the Wigan post. They're battling hard to get back into this game. He goes on to Blake. Blake holding it. There's a short one. Wigan coming quickly and smother them. The Wigan defence holding very solid at the moment as they put Warrington down in the fifth battle. Blake from behind to play the ball. Puts his grubber kick through. Wigan have got it just on their own try line. They're probably sticking up the jumpers here, and they do, trying to fighting the way away from their own try line. Iro again, running very wide, running across the posts. And Dart from acting halfback. Wigan holding it tight, holding it safe. All grouped together very closely. And they make a break from acting halfback. He has Edwards with him. Edwards going down the middle. And he's taken well from behind, but that was a good break by Wigan. There's a Wigan player flat out in that tackle. Potter up for this in the fifth tackle. Hanley puts a grubber kick, a sensible kick, and that's got Wigan out of a lot of trouble as Hanley finds touch on the Warrington 25. Well, that could well have been Warrington's last gasp. They battled hard there against the Wigan line. A Wigan defence held safe and solid. The Bishop to feed. Bishop puts it in, shoots straight out to him, he goes round the narrow side and meets Hanley. And Hanley whips him over and down. Salford now, a knock on behind the play of the ball. Tiredness, weariness creeping into the Warrington play. They've given their all and it hasn't been enough. Edwards to feed. Puts it in round the narrow side. He has Hampson with him. Hampson going for the line. Gets it on to Iro, and Iro's in. Wigan walk to the narrow side. They have the advantage of numbers of players. Hampson linked up well, managed to get a despairing pass in onto Iro. And Iro, so strong and powerful, makes it now Wigan 22. Yard in from the touchline. Well, this has been a hard, tough struggle, but this second half, Wigan really got on top. Shown the class. Warrington have stuck at the game very well. They've been carrying injuries and played their hearts out, but the strength and the speed of the Wigan teams eventually taken its toll. Joe Lydon then down to the spine cop end of the ground. Long kick, yard in from the touchline. And it looks a beauty. It's going across the face of the post and just wide. Well, it was a good effort by Lydon. Well, just 4 minutes of normal time to go. The game now out of Warrington's grasp as Wigan leading by 22 points to 10. Hanley been nominated man of the match as it's belted onto Hampson. Hampson hands it on to Iro, who has the job of clearing the lines. Wigan's usual ploy from the kick-off. Wigan probably wanted to come out of this game unscathed before next week's final. Bolton, Lucas, who's grafted hard all afternoon, grovels his way forward. Little overhead kick from Acton, half back, and they're up there first. On to Edwards. Edwards picks it up beautifully, and the referee right in line with it. Crowd are booing, but the referee was up with that little ploy. He shifted there, did Holdsworth, from that little kick through and decided it was a forward pass. Edwards brings a lot of variety into this game, and Dermot coming through well with him. Quickly out to Bishop. Bishop moving it across. Long pass goes out to Bacon, who's come back on the field. He's faced with a wall of Wigan defenders. Malloy crashing forward. Wigan forwards take him on. Edwards. On to Gregory. Gregory trying to dummy his way through. Byrne hanging on to him. Blake comes up behind to play the ball. Blake having a run through, puts in a little grubber kick. Well dropped on by Wigan. Hanley took that well. Wigan back in their own 25 in possession. Bell moves it inside. Wigan lob it out. Trying to get it out to the left wing. Iro drops the ball as it's brought inside. Won't be too happy with that. Nobody going off. This game's still enthralling as Bishop puts it in. Wigan have won it against the head. On to Hampson on the narrow side, and Hampson dies with it on his own 25. Goes out to Edwards. Edwards a long one. Trying to get it out to this right wing as Wigan try to dance away down the middle. Byrne turning and twisting, managed to get it onto Iro, and Iro knocks one off and he's running into trouble. Referee right on top trying to sort them out, see there's no last minute battling. As Edwards comes up, doing a little switch. Onto Lucas. Lucas a long one, onto Iro. Iro hands one off, they're hanging on to him. Turns inside to Hanley. He's got Edwards with him. Hanley's going for the line, onto Edwards. Edwards streaking, he's going to get Copeland, he's over! Well, that was a lovely try, set up well by Iro. He went well down the middle of the field and he was backed up by Hanley and Edwards. And Edwards back into form after his chicken pox, showed a great turn of speed to make it now Wigan 26. Well, that was a great try by Shawnhead from inside their own 25. Lucas came onto it well, got a pass out to Iro, and he was held by the arm, and he kept going and going, and they managed to flick it inside, and Hanley and Edwards backing up beautifully on his inside. And it was a great chase from a lot of Warrington players trying to cover back. They were tearing back in defence, but Edwards had sufficient speed to outpace them and ground the ball 10 yards to the right of the post, making it Wigan 26. And Joe Lyne, the bad kick, misses it. Clock showing 40 minutes as Warrington come back. There goes the hooter. Eventually a runaway win, but for a long period this was a tight game, battled out fairly and fiercely by two teams who today have been a credit to the game. So Wigan go off victors by 26 points to 10. This is your commentator John McDermott, hoping you've enjoyed the video shot by your cameraman Ian Unsworth.